What's good, YouTube family? So to start this cutout, I'm gonna be combing his hair into the way that into the natural pattern, just the way that it grows, because we're taking it down. We took it down with the number 8. He was tired of the top. I was so ready to give him a drop fade with I was so ready to give him a drop fade and keep that top and show my talent, my skills with scissor work, because I haven't had a lot of these cuts, but I used to do these cuts all the time where I used to be at. So man, I was ready to do some shear work and show my all around skills. And this is one of the hardest heads to cut. Like, as far as the texture of his hair, these is one of the hardest hairs to cut. So we're just taking everything down, making sure we cut in every direction, making sure that we get everything laying how it's supposed to. His hair is gonna be crazy because we don't wash it either. So it's just how it is until he came back. He's came back since. But yeah, so I'm just getting everything, laying everything how it's supposed to be. So right here, he wanted a shadow fade. He didn't want a ball fade. I was gonna give him a drop fade with the ball fade, and like I said, it would have been awesome to keep the top and do that cut. That would have been a cut that I really would have liked to put on my channel. This is another one that I'd like to put on my channel just because this is a very rare cut, and I don't have a lot of these type of cuts on my channel for y'all to see, to learn from. So hopefully y'all really take some from this. So I'm doing the same as a drop fade. I'm gonna drop it off in the back a little bit, but it's just the difference is I'm not gonna ball it out. So he wanted a shadow fade, so I start with my blade open because I know his hair is thick. And I'm just really getting this guideline, making sure that I set this guideline in the same on both sides. And notice how I take my clipper, and when I get like to the back, his hair is growing in different ways. So see how I take my clipper and I turn it to make sure that all the hairs are one desired length, and so that everything is one length, so that there is like there is no one dark spot. I'm even take my clipper and turn it down like that, you see? Because I don't want it to be a dark spot, just because, you could be a lazy barber and just go with your blade open all the way around and not turn your clipper and cut the hairs, but you want to cut against the grain of the hair. So right here I got my number 3 guard on, and I'm just going to go right up under his parietal ridge and occipital bone, and I'm just setting this little foundation in so I can get myself room to work with this fade. And once again, this is a number 3 guard, and I'm not digging into the top. When I get up to the side of his head, I'm just flicking out. Alright y'all, so now I got my number 1 guard open, and I'm just going to be going up about 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to take this all the way around his head, making sure that I keep the guideline the same width all the way around the head, and that I follow the shape that I set in on my original guideline. You can take it up a little higher in the back just because you have more room in the back because you dropped the fade. So you can take it up a little higher in the back, and the back, the reason that you want to do that is because the back of the head usually is like more dense, so it has more hair, it's thicker, so you're gonna have to have more room to kind of fade it out. This is the tricky part right here, just making sure that you get the same on both sides. You do the same exact steps on both sides. Notice I'm always brushing when I'm fading, just to make sure that everything is cleared out and everything how it's supposed to be. So now I'm just going to start the process of open, halfway, and close. So now I set my guideline in with my blade open, or with my number 1 guard open. Now I'm going to be closing it, I close it halfway, go halfway down the guideline that we established, then I close it all the way, and I hit the bottom of the guideline we established. And it's not going to take the line out completely, but it's going to soften it up very well for me to be able to come in my 0 guard later and take the line out. And I'm just going to work in sections from behind his head, or from the front of his head to behind his ear, then to the back of his head to behind his ear. I'm going to do the same steps on the other side. And usually I would do one side from the front to the back and then move to the other side from the front to the back, but for the sake of the video for y'all, I'm pretty sure I just went all the way around his head. Yeah. Really make sure that you work that back, because you know you don't want to leave no dark spot in the back. So I took it all the way around the head. Obviously, y'all know that. I told you. I did the same step, same thing, but the camera angle I had wasn't the best. So right here, I'm just got the number 0 guard on, and I'm just working this line out. I'm just going open halfway and close, but more than open halfway and close. With the 0 guard, if y'all watched my videos before, I look at it as the eraser. So instead of doing open halfway and close, I really just lever play and use the corner of my blade just to pick out the dark spots that I see and take them out and get the fade as smooth as possible. So I never set a guideline in with the 0 guard. I just take guidelines out with the 0 guard. I never set lines in with the 0 guard. I only take lines out with them. So to me, it's an eraser guard. It's a detail guard. And I'm just doing that. That's what I'm doing right here. Now I got the number 2 guard on, and I'm just going right up under where we left off at that number 3. Notice how it's getting real light up there in the front. So I'm just being very careful and very cautious when I come in with this guard. And I'm just keeping that shape, keeping that same shape, keeping the shape off of his head, because we know that we got a number 8 on the top, and this is number 2. So I'm keeping that shape as in flicking out, and then I'm keeping that shape of the fade. You know what I'm saying? So I'm dropping it. I'm still dropping it down. I'm still taking it from the top, from the front of his head, and dropping it in the back. And I'm just going to be doing that open, halfway, and closed, and just going right up under where I leave off every time. Now I got same thing, number 2. Now I'm going to show you this side, because the other side, I had the camera angle was kind of messed up. So this is the side that y'all are going to be seeing me fade out. So I got the number 2 guard on. And I'm just, like I said, I'm going right up under where I left off that number 3 with the number 2 guard open. And then I'm going to close it halfway and go right up under that and close it all the way. And come right up under that once again. And that's going to give me room to come in with my 1.5 guard and take this line out and work this line out. And once again, the 1.5 guard. I look at the 1.5 guard as an eraser, just like I do the 0 guard, because I never set guidelines in with it. I only come in and take lines out with it. So now that I got my number 1.5 guard on, I'm gonna just be going open, halfway, and closed, and picking out dark spots. And really, I'm gonna just be lever playing and corner work for real. But I do leave my blade flat sometime in certain areas. But y'all can see, man, his hair grows in certain different ways, so I'm just making sure that I'm cutting against the grain of the hair. No matter what way it grows, I'm making sure that I get my clipper in there, even if I have to use the last 2 blades of my teeth on my clipper. I'm making sure that I do that, just so I can detail this fade out. Notice how I'm holding my clipper in the back. I'm holding it at an angle, because that's how you have to hold your clipper the way that your fade is, the way that you want to shape your fade to be. So I want to drop it down in the back. So I wouldn't just act like I'm doing a ball fade and have my clipper straight horizontal from the floor. You know what I'm saying? I got to turn it a little bit. I got to get a little angle on it. So just watch how I do that. See how I'm not flat right there? You can turn it flat in the very back. But when you get to the side of the back, you gotta really turn your clipper just at the angle, so that the fade stays in the direction that you want it to be. I hope that makes sense. I'm just really going over it a lot just to get it as smooth as I can get it, because this is a hard head to fade just with this type of hair. If y'all know, y'all know. And 2, his hair is growing every other way, so that just makes it even more challenging. So I'm just going over it and making sure that everything is how it's supposed to be in this phase, looking how it's supposed to be. Now I'm gonna throw my zero guard on again for a second. I see a couple spots I didn't like right here in the front. I wanted to lighten that little bottom up a little more. And now I got my number 1 guard on. I'm just coming up and picking out some dark spots that I couldn't get with my 1.5. Detail work. Detail is what sets you. God is in the details. God is in the details of life. So just going the extra mile and finding that detail or seeking that detail. You know what I'm saying? Just going the extra mile and doing that detail. Like I said, God is in the details. So that's what's really gonna set you apart as a barber, is learning how to do detail work. So right here, y'all, we're gonna taper the back because he wanted the back taper. So it's real light, but you know, we're gonna get it done. We're gonna give the client what he wants. So I just bottom out, make sure that I clear everything out. Then I'm gonna come in straight in with my blade open. So I got my blade open. I'm gonna be establishing the guideline. Can't really see it because we use the blade open, remember, at the beginning of the phase. So I'm just slowly closing my clipper and work my way down until I take this line out completely. So it's gonna be open, halfway, and closed, right up under where we leave off every time. Close the clipper, move down on the fade. My message for today comes from Philippians 3:12-14 and Ephesians 3:20. So press toward the mark of the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus, and when you do that, God is gonna give you more than you ask for. He's able to do that. So just continue to press forward and believe, and know that God's part's done. It's up to you to do your part. So be productive and do your part and hold yourself accountable. Y'all can see I'm really detailing that out while I'm here, just so I don't have to come back and do it again. Now I got my number 1 guard and I'm just softening it up, just seeing a couple more spots, you know, just doing some more detail work, lever playing, doing some more detail work, making sure that fade from this taper, because this is one of the most difficult things to do. You're taking a drop fade, a shadow drop fade, and putting a taper on it. Like, you got to be real careful not to lift it up too high. So right here, to do a C cup, I tap in this vertical bar, and now obviously we're not lining up front, so I tap the vertical bar in, and then I just work my C cup. I set my guideline into the top. Notice how I set it in at the top, kept it as natural as I could, and then I just work my way from the bottom up to the top, meeting it in the middle. Just making sure that everything is laying how it's supposed to. Tap the back of this beard line, making sure that I go over that lineup multiple times though, so that everything is how it's supposed to be. And then his lineup solidified. It don't matter what way he brushes his hair, I cut every hair to where his lineup is crispy no matter what. And I'm just doing this in the back. Y'all know how I do in the back. I set in my slant, I work my way as high as I can to behind his ear. Once I get behind his ear, I use the edge of my blade and I do the roundabout around his ear. So it's gonna be the same thing. I'm gonna set in my slants. Once I get to like the top of his ear, I'm gonna use the corner of my blade and do the roundabout about his ear. And y'all see, you know what I'm saying, that lineup it's pretty high around his ear. That's another reason I wanted to give him a drop fade, but nonetheless, man, I kept it as natural as I could, trying not to give him trying not to make it look crazy around his ear. And I think it turned out crispy. Y'all see that fade in there, man. For what a shadow fade can be, that fade's in there. And the first time I cut him, come on, man. So right here, I'm just clearing everything out around the back of his neck also while I'm there, just so I can be as efficient with my time as possible. And notice how I tap in my spot at the top of the C cup. I tap it in, knowing that that's all the higher that I want to bring the C cup, and then I work my way from the bottom of it to the top. Alright y'all, so I didn't lean him back for the razor, so it don't matter if you start from the top to the bottom or the bottom to the top. I do both. So I'm just stretching the skin, pulling that skin and angling my razor at a 45-degree angle, making sure I'm just letting the razor do the work, being light, and yeah, just bring this together, get everything crispy as possible. And y'all know how I'm coming, man. Glory to God. YouTube family, this is a cut, man. I appreciate y'all. I hope that y'all take something from my game and learn something, apply it to yours, and get better at your career and get better at life. And I appreciate y'all, man. And hope to see you back. If y'all like this video, go ahead and smash that like button. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Tell some people about me. Just continue to like my videos though, because it helps with YouTube algorithm. Helps me to grow. Yeah, I hope that you learned something. I hope that you like this cut. Y'all, if y'all have any recommendations, any questions, ask your questions, or if y'all want to recommend a cut or a technique, do it. Just do it. Say something about it, and I try my best to do it. I try my best to answer your questions and to do the things that you request. So this is a little different little view, but I think this cut came out smooth. If y'all agree, leave me a comment, man. I appreciate y'all. Hope to see you back on the next video, and may God bless.